Good morning, year 3 and 4, or should I say, meow. Happy World Book Day. Your costumes are amazing today. Thank you so much for the effort that you've put in, and I'm really sorry I can't be there. But I thought this morning I'd dress up as a cat and I'd read you a chapter of this book called Varjak Poor by S.F. Said. And this book actually comes from the recommendation of my son Finley, who's in year 4 too. And at the moment, he's reading loads of books, so I get lots of recommendations from him. I'm going to read you the blurb on the back, and then I'm going to read you chapter 1. There are 7 skills in the way of Jalal, whispered the elder poor. We know only 3 of them. Their names are these: slow time, moving circles, shadow walking. Varjak Poor is a Mesopotamian blue kitten. He lives high up in an old house on a hill. He's never left home. But then his grandfather tells him about the Way, a secret martial arts for cats. Now, Varjak must use the Way to survive in a city full of dangerous dogs, cat gangs, and, strangest of all, the mysterious vanishings. Sounds exciting. Chapter 1. The elder poor was telling a story. It was a Jalal tale, one of the best. Varjak loved to hear his grandfather's tales of their famous ancestor, how Jalal fought the fiercest warrior cats, how he was the mightiest hunter, how he came out of Mesopotamia and travelled to the ends of the earth, further than any cat had travelled before. But today, the elder poor's tale just made Varjak feel restless. So what if Jalal had such exciting adventures? Varjak never would. Jalal had ended his days in the Contessa's house. His family of Mesopotamian blues had stayed there ever since. The old place must have been full of light and life in Jalal's time, generations ago, but now it was just full of dust and musty smells. The windows were always closed and the doors locked. There was a garden, but it was surrounded by a high stone wall. Jalal was one of the last to cross it. In all the years since then, no one had ever left the Contessa's house. Now, no one except Varjak was ever listening to the tale of Jalal's adventures. Father, mother, and Auntie Junie were dozing in the late afternoon light that trickled through the thick green windows. His big brother Julius was flexing his muscles. His cousin Jasmine was fiddling with her collar. His litter brothers, Jay, Jethro, and Jerome, were playing out one of their kittenish games that Varjak could never see the point of, and wasn't allowed to join in anyway. No one was looking at him. This was his chance. He'd been in the garden before, but the family didn't like it out there and never let him stay out for long. Stealthily, as Jalal himself, Varjak rose up and padded to the cat door. He could see the garden on the other side. He could almost feel the fresh air brushing through his whiskers. He nudged it open. Varjak Poor! It was his father. Where do you think you're going? Varjak spun around. The tale was over. They'd woken up and seen him. But this time, he wouldn't give in. Aren't we allowed in the garden now? He said. Sweetheart, said Mother, coming over and straightening his collar. This garden is a nasty, dirty place. You're a pedigree cat. What do you want out there? Varjak looked around at the stuffy furniture, the locked-up cabinets, the curtains he wasn't even allowed to climb. He'd never been anywhere else, but this had to be the most boring place on earth. "Hunting," he said. "Aren't we supposed to hunt?" "The tales talk about—" "Tales," snorted his big brother Julius, green eyes glinting. It was said that their ancestor Jalal had green eyes. Everyone in the family had them. Everyone, apart from Varjak-Poor. "Tales are for kittens," scoffed Julius. Cousin Jasmine giggled. Varjak bristled. "Jalal was a long, long time ago," said Mother, smoothing and grooming Varjak's silver blue fur until he wriggled away. "Anyway, Jalal came to live in the Contessa's house for a good reason. The tales also say there are monsters outside, huge monsters called dogs, so fierce that even people fear them." She shuddered. "No, we're lucky that the Contessas love us and let us live here." "The Contessas love some of us," interrupted Varjak. Varjak knew what was coming, and worse, he thought it might be true. "When I was a kitten," boasted Julius, "the Contessa's was down here every day. She used to let me play on her lap. She made a fuss of me. She now only ever comes down to feed us, and sometimes she doesn't even do that at all. In fact, we hardly see her at all since that funny-looking Varjak was born." Cousin Jasmine giggled again. This time, Varjak's little brother Jay, Jethro and Jerome joined in. "It's because of his eyes," added Julius. "The colour of danger. Us blues should have green eyes. They aren't an embarrassment." That did it. Julius was bigger than him and older, but Varjak couldn't help it. He faced up to Julius, fur rising with anger. "I don't believe you," he said. "You're a liar." "Varjak," said Father, "that's no way to talk to your brother." "But Julius—" "Whine, whine, whine," sneered Julius. Listen to the little insect whine." "Julius, you shouldn't tease him so much," said Father. "The Contessa's upstairs because she's ill, nothing more. But Varjak-Poor, you have to learn to be a proper Mesopotamian blue. We're noble cats, special cats. We don't run around calling each other liars. We don't talk about disgusting things like hunting, and we don't get our paws all muddy in the garden. And that's not what being a blue is about. Do you understand?" Varjak's tail curled up. It was always like this. Julius could get away with anything, but everything Varjak did was wrong. "Your father's talking to you," said Auntie Junie sternly. "Do you understand?" He stared down at the cold stone floor, silent. There was nothing he could say. "Fine," said Father. "Suit yourself, but until you learn to act like a blue, there'll be no supper for you to eat." He licked his chops. "Come on, everyone, let's eat." They all headed down the corridor to the kitchen, leaving Varjak on his own in the hallway between the stairs and the front door. Last to go was the elder Poor, the head of the family. "Don't worry, Varjak," he whispered, so no one could hear what else he had to say. "I'll tell you another Jalal tale tonight, one of the greatest battles we've ever had." He winked, and then he joined the rest of them. It made things a little better, even if the tales made Varjak restless. He loved them. They were the closest he'd ever got to an adventure in this place. He looked at the old wooden stairs covered in dusty carpet. The cats weren't allowed up there now because the Contessa was ill. Her door was always shut. The whole house was like that. No one came in and no one went out. Nothing new or exciting ever happened. It was the dullest life a cat could have. There's Varjak. There. I'm going to stop the story there now. I hope you enjoyed what we've read so far. I wonder what adventure Varjak's going to go on. I hope you enjoyed it. If you want to borrow it, come and find me, and I'll be happy to lend it to you. because if you read that one, there is actually another one in the sequel, The Outlaw of Varjakpur. Look at him there. Take care. See you soon.